Good evening, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, we finally got Alan on the plane. Well, that's the belief. We went around, as you may have seen on our other video, we went round a little surprise visit, and we found that his lady was there with the little girl, and apparently her father and her brother. Which is good news, because as you may, if you've been listening, you may know that we always intended that the good news would be that once Alan was gone, then we would be able to help in some way to reunite the girl with her family, because apparently they were estranged anyway. It seems like it may be that Alan was Muslim. Not quite sure about that, but Beth did say that she thought she heard him say that his father was Muslim. And so I'm assuming that the fact that his girlfriend is reluctant to come to the church in order to receive an allowance in order that she can survive is partly due to the fact that Alan is a Muslim and probably doesn't want her to go near to a Christian church. So that's probably the reason there. Actually, when she did come that one time, I suggested to her, well, you may well enjoy this, because, your little girl can interact with other kids, which she doesn't normally get to do, and you'll make friends. And she indicated that she actually would like that idea. So I'm assuming, and we all know what assuming is all about, don't we? I'm assuming that she probably went back and she spoke to him, and because of his faith, he wasn't too happy about the idea that she and the child would be going to a Christian church. It was after that the reluctance, which was so mystifying, came to the front. And then, as you will have seen today, she was telling me, well, it's difficult because it interferes with the child's sleep and her feeding and all of that. And you probably heard me say it. Do you realize that there are millions of Filipino women who are dealing exactly with this? But not just one child, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 children. And they're dealing with it very, very well, which is what Filipino mothers do very, very well. Beth, for instance, is one of, I think, 10 children. She was the 10th child. She's the baby of the family, okay? So what we can say is that it's bon voyage, because the girlfriend did say, we questioned her, did you actually get a message from Brian? Not on the plane, but he was at the airport. Very little point in him going to the airport if he's not getting on the plane. Now, let's just put this to rest, hopefully. Put it to rest that he didn't have any choice about getting on that plane, because by that time he was known to immigration. He was known as an embarrassment probably to the Canadian embassy, and I doubt that they were very pleased with him because of the story of the ambassador himself coming out and lifting a lot of money from Alan. Well, all of that was not very bright, was it? And we all knew that. We stated all the way up front that the emphasis was to be on getting him out of the country in order that the girlfriend and the daughter, the child, could actually get back to some kind of a normal life. Now, about the hesitation of her to come to the church, I think that what may have happened was that when we talked to him about, well, how how would you be able to support, this is before we had an offer of support, how would you be able to support your wife, common law wife and child if you've gone there, because you're going to have to find a job. It's not going to be so easy. He said, oh, I'll find a job easily. He's very confident of that. But he said, I will leave the ATM card so that she can continue to draw the benefit that I draw. So apparently he's been surviving on an extremely modest benefit, and he is intending, or has said, that he will leave that ATM card, which will be fully operational, and she will be able to use it and draw the same benefit. And that benefit apparently was, from my memory, I seem to remember it was something like 8 or 10,000 pesos. So if she continues to do that and draw that, she will be able to survive, and she'll be able to survive in that place where she's at right now, because her rent is about 3,000 pesos, and then plus utilities, which can't actually be very much, a few hundred pesos. She's right in town. She doesn't have any transport problems. Actually, Beth told me, although I hadn't seen this myself, Beth told me that she actually can ride the motorcycle. I don't know how well that is, whether she's licensed or not, but she's in the provinces, so it doesn't really matter, it seems. Any number of people are riding about without licenses, so let's not even go into that. So her future seems to be relatively secure. She's got some money coming in from, if she chooses to, a little bit like Mission Impossible, isn't it? Your allowance, should you choose to pick it up, is I think it's 1,000 plus, 1,000 plus, and I know that many of you are irate about that. So prior to him going, when everybody was convinced that he was not going, no, he's not going. He's not getting on that plane. He's not going. He's not going. And somebody making book on it. How about we make book on it? Who's betting that he's going? Who's betting that he's not? And so on, and all of that. And it kind of, I said it was a feeding frenzy, which is what I thought it was. It was a case of just going in on a kind of a mob mentality. The mentality when people get together in order to inflict injury on people is a mob mentality, because the intelligence level goes down to the lowest common denominator. Sorry about you very intelligent guys who are very articulate at putting your little quotes in and doing this guy now that he's down. It doesn't matter to me whether he's a dreamer or whether he's a failure. It doesn't matter to me whether he's a loser. Boy, I done some losing in my life, okay? I had some great successes and I had some great losses. And isn't that life what life is about? Is there anyone among us, any of you people who are sitting there with your hand poised above the keyboard, have you not had any losses? Have you not made a fool of yourself? Have you not been totally embarrassed? Has none of that happened to you? It would amaze me if any of you could honestly say that you had not had those losses. I've had all the losses. Lost my home, I've been bankrupt, lost my marriage, I've messed up so many times. I actually wrote to someone today. He wrote to me, Jim wrote to me and said, I'm sorry that I put that comment on about, I'm not sure, I think it was about James and Jessica's house. And he made some comment and he said, I realized it was negative, and I'm sorry that I did that now, because I went back and I looked at the other videos about the house and I got more of the whole picture, and I apologize. He said, like you, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. And I said to him, actually, in my life's career, if you can make a career of your life, I've pursued with passion the whole art of making a complete mess up of so many things that I've done. I mean, you know, if this is going to be a news best, I'm probably going to be way ahead, because I've messed up a load of times. And I've had a lot of people say, you're going to do what? And sometimes that's been my best indication of the fact that I should be doing what I'm going to do. I think that you come out feeling better if you don't jump in on the feeding frenzy. If you can keep your comments to something that's reasonable. Look at it this way. Could you keep your comment if it turned out that this guy had saved the life of somebody that you absolutely adored? And then you would have to face him and say, oh yes, I did say that you were a dirtbag and a loser and all of that, but I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. It's easy to throw dirt, but as they say, if you throw dirt, you get some on yourself as well. And it really is much better to not do all of that crap. Anyway, just to go on so that this doesn't turn into a whole, I don't know, I may as well be saying pack your bags, you're going on a guilt trip. I'm just looking at what else we did. Well, we got Alan away, right? He's gone. We've been to see his girlfriend and she's okay, and apparently in the process already of having a visit from her family. Now, did they jump up and shake my hand and do all of that? No, because they were not involved in the conversation, and they were not that open and confident about, heaven knows why, about getting up and maybe having to talk English to me. That's the nosebleed element, isn't it? So, forgive them if they didn't get up and talk to me. The conversation was nothing to do with them in their mind. That's my take on it. What else did we do? Well, we went round and we bought some really nice furniture, and we didn't pay much, and we tipped very generously. We gave more money than they expected, and they were astonished and very pleased. So we put that up on our little deck, and now we can look grandly at that black hole that's in the ground there, which we haven't been able to get tiled yet. But we'll get there, okay? Now, we took groceries to the blind man. He was delighted, and he will share them, which is the Filipino way. No point in battling that. No point in saying, these are just for him, all right? Now, you're not to give anybody, you're not to give any food to that little child there, because this is all for you. It isn't going to happen, is it? Lots of little children round there, and there were biscuits in there. Do you think that man's going to say, no, I'm sorry, little girl, I can't. And this is the little girl I showed you in the video that led him where he needed to go. If he needed to go to the CR, which is an outside CR, she had a long stick, and she tapped his hand, and he took the stick and she led him to where he needed to go. Nah, don't give that little girl any biscuits. That's my take on it. We also took groceries. Well, we didn't take them because we just didn't have time. But we got a motorcyclist and we piled the groceries to Tag, that cripple boy that's living out on the hill all by himself. And we paid the guy, and he was very happy because he took it the last time. And he drove across country, not four-wheel drive, but anyway, he drove across and he managed to get all of that grocery, rice, and all of the other food that Tag will eat, and he got it to Tag, and that's the boy that can hardly walk. So, my Sunday driving job, as always, we had that. That is such a wonderful experience for me. When anybody comes to visit, well, I usually pile them in the truck and I take them on those deliveries and pickups of kids. And the kids are just so full of life, it's just impossible to describe it. We went to a polling station. I dropped the ladies off. That's Nanai, I think I took Jessica, Lena, Beth, and Jessica wasn't registered, but the other three were. And we took them, and while I was waiting there, my truck was carjacked or truck jacked by 6 kids who I normally pick up from Baby Jane. And Baby Jane came with her gang, and they didn't ask, horrible little kids that they are. They just got straight in the back of my truck and started singing to me. What can you do with that? It's just not easy. And then after that, they asked me to take them to Tanghalige, which is where they love to go when I'm picking up the other kids. Tanghalige, which you may know, is where the 3 little girls, which is really 4 little girls, which is usually about 7 or 8 little girls and boys, and I bring them into church. And Baby Jane and Gretchen and Yasmin all love to go along and just do the joyride. Well, this time they got in the back of the truck and I said, well, now you're there, are you going to sing to me? And they did, and it was wonderful. And then, of course, came the payment time. Nothing's for free, as the Americans free. There's no free lunch. There's no free songs. So I heard Gretchen say, "Sorry, sorry," which means, even with my almost total lack of Visayan, it meant, can you take us all to the Sari Sari store and buy us some treats? I did that. We drove up about, I don't know, not even 100 yards, 200 yards, and we went to the nearest Sari Sari store with all the kids in the back, and they sat almost like they're on the tailgate, like a tailgate party, and we sat there. I gave Jasmine, who is seems to be the most sensible of the crowd, and I gave her 25 cents, and she went there and she talked quietly to the lady that runs the Sari Sari store, and she explained the situation. This is the problem. There were 7 of us, 7 of the children, because I had Rohan in with me as well when I was waiting. So Rohan went in the back and joined the party. Jasmine came back with a bag full of goodies, and they shared them out, and it was a great time. Then we drove back again, and by that time we picked up the ladies. The children stayed with us because we were driving past the little compound of I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8 houses that houses Baby Jane's family and friends, and we dropped them off there, and they ran off without even saying goodbye. Oh no, 1 or 2 of them said thank you, which is enough. What else? Well, we did 2 deliveries to House 31, and we took materials up there for and had 2 deliveries of stuff. Now, the reason that they couldn't start work on Monday was for a reason which, for the life of me, I can't remember what they were. They were unable to get some of the basic materials, which was, I think, ballast. They couldn't get the ballast up there, so they wouldn't have been able to put in the footings on the posts, because this is not going to be a brick or a hollow block building, because it's on the side of a hill that looks like this. So the house has got to be on stilts to bring it level. It goes across like that. So that's the reason they couldn't get started. They will be getting started as soon as they can get the gravel up there, but it's been polling week, so it's been absolutely hell. So that's everything else that we've done. Actually, no, I'm forgetting, because we went to see the blind girl Sarah, and we took with with us. We took 2 mattresses which were given by Sandman Steve the Sandman, who is becoming almost legendary now because he's financed us to give away so many mattresses to people, and today was no different. We gave away mattresses to Sarah and her family too. So forget Alan for a minute, because so much else happened. I think that sometimes people think that we spend the entire day worrying what we're going to do about Alan, and it's never been like that. It's never been like that. It's always been much, much easier than that. Actually, I spend more time answering the comments or looking through the comments about Alan than I do about helping Alan. Isn't that funny? Well, that's social media. Okay, so that's my spiel on this. Thanks for looking in. Bye for now. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and you may want to look in and see that in fact we are on a rocket ride up to 17,000. We're right at the halfway mark on that 1,000. In fact, we're just over 500, and we're on the way. We'll be at 600. That's 16,000 and 600 very, very soon. Thanks for looking in, and thanks for helping us to get there. It makes a difference. Bye for now.